So, James, back to the topic of good people. A lot of what people ask, right, especially people who are newer to property, they say, like, how do you find, let's say a mortgage broker. How do you find a mortgage broker that you trust, and how do you know to trust them? Like, how's your experience being with mortgage brokers?
So the first time I got a mortgage was when I was probably when I was 24, when I bought my first house. That's going back some time now, yeah. And at that time, you're kind of like, it's very, very new to you. So 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to go with the recommended broker that the agent selling the house would recommend to you, or you're just going to try and find someone very, very local to you. But I think what happens over time is you start to learn the process a little bit more. Now, my advice would be to anybody who's trying to find a broker or trying to find someone who arranges a mortgage for you is to understand the whole process of a mortgage. What are the different stages they go through? Don't let people feed you a load of shit, because it's very, very easy when it's a first-time buyer, you're very excited about buying a house. So you're disregarding all that other legal nonsense, yeah? You're just thinking, damn, man, I want to get my house. I want to get in there. I want to hang my TV, make it look all good. You're not worried about looking at the mortgage product. You're not worried about looking at the interest rate, what the best product is for you. My advice would be, take one step back. There's so much information available now, yeah? Have a look. Just work out. Just type into Google, what are the steps that a solicitor takes? What are the steps that this person takes? So you can then start getting some kind of idea on how they're billing you. Don't just go with the first product, because it's generally going to be the wrong one. Now, my other advice would be is definitely get a broker. A broker's going to have such an array of products on the market, whereas if you're going to the high street, they're limited to the 2 or 3 products that they can send to you. I'm reading your message here, man. It's making me laugh. You're a joker. Anyway, go to a broker, because a broker's going to have a massive array of products. Now, for me, I work with one broker and one broker only. Having said that, I am going to give Shaz, our boy, a chance, to see if he can get in. But my broker, we've been friends since we were 13. He runs a wealth management company. He works with some really high net worth individuals. And I think the only reason why he still works with me is because we're mates. And, and he holds all my details on file, and is pretty quick to put the mortgages through. Now, again, like with my solicitor, I can trust him completely, because I know he's going to give me the best product. And I think a good broker should charge you a fee. Yeah, now people say, oh, he's getting his fee through the mortgage advisor. Now think about it. If your broker wasn't charging you a fee, he's not really going to work for you, because if he's got product 1 here that's going to make him $4,000, or he's got product 2 here that's going to make him $2,000, which one do you think he's going to give you? He's going to give you, the one that's going to make him $4,000, because it's for him. So for me, I always pay my broker a fee. Now, even though we're friends, there's been times where when the mortgage has been offered, that's when I pay my fee. There's been times when a mortgage has been offered and I haven't gone through with it for whatever reason, but I still paid him his fee, because I've acknowledged all the work his team has done, So my advice, find yourself a broker, pay your broker a fee, because your broker is working for you at the end of the day, yeah? Don't just go for the cheapest product. Don't just go for the first product you find. And it's a relationship thing. It's going to take time to find the broker that's good for you, the one that works. Now, for me, it's got to a point now where I can just WhatsApp my broker and say, look, I'm looking at this deal. Can you sort it for me? Half an hour later, there's 2 or 3 illustrations. This is the best one for you, James. Let's go. All my IDs are there. Everything's there. I don't have to go through all the, the heartache of providing all this stuff, because I've got so many mortgages going through. My mortgages are, our details are updated every 3 or 4 months anyway on the system. And it just works really, really nicely.
I think that's a really good point. Like, I won't repeat what you said, but I'll add to it. I think when it comes to bridging, I like to go direct to bridges, because in my humble opinion, when you're buying buy-to-let and the bridge is straightforward, there's no development, mezzanine, when it's just literally, hi, I'm buying a buy-to-let, or I'm buying like a normal house, I need a bridge on it. In my opinion, I find it a lot easier to go straight to the bridging lender. And in fact, I think all bridging lenders, apart from maybe Interbay, because they're part of Kent or something like that, maybe they won't go direct, but most of them will work with you directly. And so you save a broker fee, which for bridging, I've heard brokers charge like £1,000, which, now again, brokers in the chat, if you're in here, you're not going to like it, but it's not really worth it, because bridging is honestly, like, it's so simple when you're buying normal vanilla houses or just a house, because, you know, you're getting 75% or whatever of purchase price rate, you negotiate on fees, you negotiate on like the kind of the information and details they need are the same. If my broker says I need ID and a form filled out, well, so does the bridger. So what is the point of a middle person? So for bridging, I always say go direct. And if you want introducing to a bridger, feel free to ask one of us. When it comes to brokers, though, one thing that I notice is that so many brokers in their marketing, should I say, will say, we're a whole of market broker. We access all the lenders. Everyone is a fucking whole of market broker. I've literally not met one broker, who's not whole of market. So it's like saying, hi, I'm Tej, I'm a human. It's like, of course you fucking are, mate. Like, so when someone says, oh, I'm whole of market, don't get caught up in that as some sort of speciality. Like, yeah, there might be some who are not, but, you know, basically everyone is, and it's like a basic tick that you should have. What matters more than that is, okay, your whole of market or your sum of market. What relationships have you got with those lenders? Because I know certain brokers who have, you know, worked with their BDMs in previous capacities. I know some lenders who are texting the underwriter brokers. I know some brokers who are new and don't have relationships yet. I know some who, you know, so that matters more, because if your broker can just text the underwriter and say, look, mate, we've got an application coming in, unsure about this, what you reckon? And the underwriter goes, as the person who's signing it off, here's my feedback over text or on a little call. It helps you so much, because you can then change the application or not go with that lender or save yourself time and effort. So the relationships within that matter a lot more than who they know, right? Another thing, which, again, speaking of Shaz, my broker, and who you know as well, and who people in the chat
sorry,
know.
Ted, just to add to that point where you said about relationships. Now, I think that's a very good point, because my broker, he was saying to me, I was speaking to him a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, oh, look, I'm having lunch with the guy who creates products for Paragon, you know, or I'm having lunch with the guy who creates the actual products that, say, Foundation Home Loans put out there. So he's responsible for creating the product. So I think when your broker has that level of relationship with someone, when your case is very, very complex, or it needs a little bit of a, let's just overlook this slight little bit, or can we overlook this? If your broker can speak to the person in the firm that creates the damn products, you don't get much higher than that. I'm sorry. And this is where my broker, somebody asked in the chat there, how much does your broker charge you? Mine charges me £550 for everything he does for each application. I would happily pay him that each time, because I know I'm getting the best advice, best service, and the best product for me.
Yeah. And I think, you know, you said, Mohit said, what is a reasonable fee? For bridging, I don't believe there's any reasonable fee on normal buy-to-lets. When you go into complex bridging, they're probably going to charge you a percentage, or about £1,000, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, I pay my broker less than what James said, but
I'm not surprised.
But it's still an amount that I believe is fair for the work done. But also, like James said, I'm happy to pay certain amounts, because, well, if the work's getting done and it's pain-free for me, and I can just WhatsApp an address and we get a mortgage, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not having to do much. So I don't really mind.
Yeah, do you know where you said about bridging? Just one point on that, going direct with a bridger. I got a big up Theo on this, because he actually, my first bridge that I did with Together, he put me in touch. Now, just to give you an example, I contacted Together directly here in London, through London. So I must have gone through some different routes to get the business development manager that I did. Theo put me in a recommendation with his guy, who's called Bob the Bridge. What a name, eh? Bob the Bridge. Well, we've called him Bob the Bridge. I don't think he's called Bob the Bridge. But anyway, so looking at the same product they put through for me here in London, or going through a recommendation, mate, there was a huge difference in the price. So going direct to the broker or getting an introduction to a bridging person or a BDM in a bridging company is what Theo did for me, and it saved me. It saved me about £100, no, about £90 a month on the payment. Which, when you're thinking you got a bridge for 15 months, that's a lot, man. You're thinking these London boys were trying to shaft me. The minute I went up north and spoke to Bob the Bridge, it was perfect. Now, the relationship I now have with Bob the Bridge is like, if you're looking at a deal, you ring him, you say, look, Bob, this is the deal. What do you think? And he think, yeah, we can make that happen. And you think that is all you need when you've got someone like that on your side, especially a bridger, saying, I'll lend you the money, And then this particular one of my deals that fell out of bed, which is a new build in London for the land and the build, he said, I can lend you 75% of it. So this is to buy the land and to do the works. And he was going to roll it up over 24 months. You get better than that? No, you don't. What a deal, eh?
I think, like, apparently Bob the Bridge is no longer building bridges. Oh dear. Has he gone to a better place? He's gone to somewhere like Roma. I'm joking.
No, they got their doors closed at the moment, haven't they?
Oh yeah, basically, yeah.
I hope he isn't dead.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't an ominous message. Theo, can you please clarify what you mean by that? Because that's like, you're upsetting us, man. Yeah, I think that's really important. Relationships are important. I'm the same with Together. Like, I just send an address, and then they just instruct legals and whatever. I mean, it's just, and of course, it's in their interest too, anyway, because they make money off it. And also, I'll tell you something about relationships. I think there's a shift in relationships, and that comes with money naturally. Well, I say money, it comes with proof. And in this case, the proof is money. So for example, with a bridger, once I redeemed my first three bridges with them, I paid them off, and one of them was in like 3 months, all interest paid, no issue, nothing. I just noticed a shift down in rates and a shift up in, it's hard to explain, isn't it? But you just kind of feel when they're like, they tick you, they give you a little blue tick like on Instagram, right? And that happens with estate agents, happens with everyone. The second you prove to them, and via money in these situations, that you are doing what you say you're doing, it shifts, and it's very subtle, but you can kind of notice it. So when people are starting out and they're like, oh, we're not getting deals, we're not getting this, relationships, we're trying really hard, it is still going to take time to reach that little shift. It's like a activation energy for an enzyme. If anyone studied science, don't nod your head. Did you study science?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. I spent most of my time skipping science.
I thought you were going to say skipping. I was going to say it's good exercise. It's like you just need a little to shift, and then after that, you will just be like, "Whoa, this was the shift I was waiting for," and then it just gets better and better. But it doesn't happen at the start, because how do they know that James is not chatting shit? How do they know that I'm not chatting shit? How do they know that we're just not going to buy one house and be like, yeah, thanks, bye? So it's also about proving to them these sort of things.